After 6 years of waiting and many ports and remakes later, the next entry into the Disgaea series is finally on its way, having released in January in Japan and this summer for the rest of the world. In Disgaea 5, you play as a bunch of overlords taking on the Demon Emperor. But this time, you're starting out much lower, with your main character being just a lowly zombie. Here's 5 things you need to know about Disgaea. When the team at Nippon Ichi were first establishing Disgaea as a way of getting into the strategy RPG trend at the time, they weren't really thinking about the story. Instead, they were considering the gameplay system and how to make it unique, like the stacking mechanic. So when they went to create a story for it, the game was already comical enough. The writer and producer of the series, Sohei Nikawa, is from Osaka, which he regards as the city of laughs, and wanted to implement this into the game as well. For him, the main point of the story is to make the player laugh, but specifically in a wholesome way, with none of the jokes being used to specifically target another group and put them down. The best laughs are the ones everyone can have together. In the early days of the company, Nippon Ichi were just making video game versions of board games, with Nikawa's first title being Mahjong. But after this, he strived to create RPGs, and Disgaea was their first big success. For this reason, it has influenced every part of the company today, and most new recruits to the company joined because they loved Disgaea. For this reason, they found that every title they create is influenced in some way by the series. And it's also the reason they use Prinny as the company mascot for both the Japanese and American branches. When Disgaea 6 was first announced, I was immediately taken back by the 3D graphics. While the rest of the industry had moved to 3D a while ago, the most Disgaea had done is gone from pixel art to 2D illustrations. But NIS was starting to feel that the series needed something fresh, and so they opted to explore 3D graphics. But they had one condition. They refused to go into 3D if they ever felt the appeal of character designer Takehito Harada's art slipping. This is one of the main reasons they haven't gone into 3D up until now. As it stands, Disgaea going 3D is the result of them finding the perfect shader settings that retain Harada's unique appeal. There were other changes they wanted to make to Disgaea 6 as well. While 5 had a level cap of 9,999, they wanted there to be a constant feeling of growth in 6, and so the new level cap is 99,999,999. Because of this, you'll have the feeling of constantly leveling up, but even as you get stronger, you and your zombie hero will end up facing the god of destruction over and over, and each time you'll lose to him, meaning that you'll die and as a zombie end up resurrecting, but now in a brand new world. Nikawa mentions that they weren't necessarily trying to follow trends, but that they'd accidentally come up with an isekai story. A lot of games are restricted by their budget, and so there's only so much they can achieve before things start getting ridiculous. But when asked what he'd do if he had an unlimited budget for a Disgaea game, Nikawa had no response, instead saying he'd probably stash it away for a rainy day. Disgaea's appeal isn't in what it could be, but instead what it is. It didn't need realistic 3D graphics or cutscenes, because the team loves the 2D art and style so much. While Disgaea is always going to try new things and make us laugh, it is always going to be somewhat humble in scale. Thanks for watching OTAQUEST in Japan. Feel free to subscribe to find out more about the art and creation of Japanese pop culture.